Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. So today we are going to make a fun Christmas arrangement. It's actually going to go in our front cooler. So we are going through just a few odds and ends that we have left for the holiday season, and this little Santa mug happens to be one of those. And so we only had a single. He was left from last year, I believe, and I thought we would fill him with some pretty flowers and tuck him right in the front cooler. So this is just a fun mug I filled with a little bit of water and some fresh floral foam, and we're going to add some flowers. So the first thing we're going to do, number one, I cut the foam so that it would go all the way down into this mug. It does not have to be taped in. Now, if it's a shallow container, I suggest always taping your foam into place, but because this is pretty deep and it holds plenty of foam, it should be perfect. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add a little bit of evergreens. So this is some foliage. There's Osa. So this is some foliage that we got in a mixed box from Budsy. It is actually, it is Florida grown evergreens. I am not exactly sure what this variety, the name of the variety is, but it's just a pretty evergreen. I'm going to take it and cut it into smaller pieces and just tuck it right into this foam all the way around. Now, feel free when making your own arrangements at home to go out and cut foliage from your yard. I always suggest that is so smart to go ahead and cut your own foliage. If you don't have to purchase it, I suggest don't. Don't spend your money on the greenery, spend your money on the flowers. So I am just taking this foliage and cutting it into smaller pieces and just tucking it right down into the floral foam. It smells so good. What is it about evergreens? It just smells so pretty, and it reminds you so much of Christmas, doesn't it? And you can take some of these, even the little fronds, and just for the little branches. All right, so there's some greenery. No worries, I still have plenty of foliage left to add around, but I think that's enough for right this second. Next, we're going to come in. Let me show you the flowers that I chose. So we have been getting from Budsy some beautiful David Austin spray roses and some David Austin garden roses. Y'all, these are amazing. Like, they're really large, they're really showy. So we're going to use some of these. We've got beautiful red Freedom roses. They're bright red, so they're perfect for Christmas time. We got in some red Hypericum berries. And then look at these butterfly Ranuculus. So they're actually kind of a very light blush, but y'all, they are so pretty. And then a little bit of white Lizzyanthus today. So we're going to start out with our red roses. So I'm going to take my red roses, and these have a couple of bumps on their outer petals, so I just went ahead and pulled that right off. I'm going to take off some of that foliage, cut that stem at an angle, and nestle him right down into that floral foam. Now, anytime you have a rose and you're going to cut it off short, you do not have to worry about wiring that stem. You can just cut that really short and tuck it in. Now, the reason I don't wire them when they're this short is because they don't have a really long stem that they have to drink that water through. So you usually don't have any issues with keeping those roses hydrated. All right, so there's our 3 red roses nestled right down into our little Santa mug. Next, we'll come in with some of these Hypericum berries. So Hypericum berries are also called coffee berries, and they come in lots of beautiful colors. This week we got a mixed box, and the mixed box included this pretty bright red. It included a maroon, which are so lovely. I'm actually going to use those in a wedding this week. It included a lime green and a white. But they also have, hypericums also come in a peach color, kind of a pinky peachy color. So they come in tons of colors, and they're so much fun. I really enjoy them. Now, a lot of times with hypericum berries, you have to watch the foliage because sometimes the foliage looks damaged. Go ahead and just pull that foliage off if it doesn't look pretty. It's not going to hurt the berries at all. But sometimes it doesn't look pretty, so always remove anything that doesn't look lovely, okay? All right, so there's our little hypericum berries tucked in. Next, we will come in with some of our garden spray roses. So these are David Austin garden spray roses. I did not even realize that David Austin made a spray rose. We have been getting these each week for the month of December. They had a special going at Budsy, and so I have so enjoyed these beautiful garden spray roses and garden roses. They've been really nice. They're really fancy. I don't get David Austin roses a whole lot because they're fairly pricey. But Budsy, the company that we order our flowers from, sometimes if you will order like weekly, they will give you a really good deal on flowers that you don't always get. So this was a special. These garden roses came in a special, which was always fun. And I like to be able to get some different things, you know, because sometimes I feel like we always do the same old, and sometimes the same old is what sells, right? But it's nice to have something that's just a little bit different. And these garden roses really make me happy. Okay, the next flower we're going to use are these little butterfly ranunculus. So these look like they have just a little bit of it's almost antiqued, the coloring on them. They're kind of a creamy color, but if you look real close, they have a little bit of a kiss of blush, but they are beautiful. Now I'll tell you, this is another one of those things. I just told Donna, I said, I need something new. Please send me something new. Donna is my rep for Budsy. Send me something fun, and so she sent us these butterfly ranunculus, which are so pretty and fun. Now often a ranunculus, when you look at it, it has tons of little petals. So it almost reminds you of a little girl's dress with all of the little ruffles. And that's what they look like a lot. Now these butterfly ranunculus, actually, you can see down to their center. So it almost looks like someone plucked out the center petals. But they're really pretty and really fun, something very different. So these, they almost look like a little rosebud, just real sweet and pretty. So I like their little delicate look. So, and it has lots of little buds. It reminds you a little bit of Lizzyanthus because it has all of these fun buds. Now I'm going to leave these stems a little longer so that they give us a little bit more depth to this arrangement, because it's pulling some height and just kind of something fun and different. Now you always have to be a little careful with ranunculus. They will get damaged pretty easy. So if you've ever ordered them or if you've ever played with them at all, you have to be a little careful. But they're such a sweet little delicate flower, and they're fun to work with because they're just so different. Okay, so there's our ranunculus, but see how it gives us some movement in this arrangement? Here's a little bud. We're going to tuck him in. And I love that it gives us a little whimsy. Okay, now we're going to add a little Lizzyanthus and a little more foliage, and we're going to call this little arrangement finished. So our Lizzyanthus reminds you a little bit of a rosebud when you look at it. It opens up really pretty, but usually it's very delicate petals versus a sturdier petal of a rose. They come in lots of colors. Well, when I say lots of colors, not like a rose comes in all the colors in the rainbow. Lizzyanthus comes in like a pretty butter yellow. It comes in whites and pinks and shades of purple. And then it comes in bicolors, so it'll have 2 or 3, it'll have almost a little variegated bloom where it has maybe a white bloom with purple tips or a pink, a white bloom with pink tips. So it's just kind of a fun, interesting little flower. Pretty delicate, works beautifully in wedding work. So it's one of my favorite go-tos for wedding work just because it's sweet and delicate. All right, I'm gonna turn my arrangement around real quick. All right, now to finish off our little Santa, we're gonna add a little bit of this holly fern. So, holly fern, if you look at it closely, it looks a lot like holly that grows on a bush, right? But it's much more delicate, and it really is in the fern family. And so, and it doesn't bite like holly does, which is a wonderful thing because holly will bite you. So I'm going to take and cut a little bit of this holly fern and tuck it in. I love the difference in the texture. It's just a different leaf, so that's kind of fun. Oh, son, you can't turn my arrangement, silly.
Perfect. And you want to go and pick these out?
Can I get you to scoot over just a little?
I'll give you a phone when we're done.
All right. So I'm going to turn it around. So you're going to make sure that all of the foam is covered down at the bottom. If in case, always lift your arrangement up, look at it closely, and make sure that you cover any of the foam that might be showing. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my little greenery and cutting it a little shorter and pushing it kind of deep down into that foam right there to cover up that foam. But always lift it up and make sure you don't see any foam down in there. And there is our sweet little Santa arrangement. Now the flowers that we used in this arrangement include Freedom Red Roses, which are those bright red roses. We used red Hypericum berries. We used Butterfly Ranuculus. We used white Lizzyanthus, and then white David Austin spray roses. And then our greenery was just a mixed Christmas greens or winter greens and some holly fern. Now all of these flowers again came from Budsy, which is a company that we order probably 95% of all of our flowers. If you have any questions about that company or any of the flowers that we often use, or any questions about the flower shop, please do not hesitate to ask. We're so happy to answer those questions. Guys, thank y'all for being here today, and do me a great big favor. Honey, are you checking it out? Do me a great big favor. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Y'all have a great afternoon. We'll see you real soon.